This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Robin Birchall, the CEO of Giyani Metals, joins us today. Robin, it's good to be talking to you again. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. It's very nice to be on and get a chance to update all the investors on how we're progressing.
Yes, indeed. It's nice to catch up again. And last time we spoke, you mentioned you were in the middle of extension drilling. And since then, you've announced an indicated mineral resource at Cahill Manganese project. So can you give us an update on how that was going? And also, I'd like to talk to you about the feasibility study, which is imminent, I think.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. That's where we are at the moment. So we declared our maiden reserve, which we're obviously very excited about, and that had a significant bump in the total tons. So it was quite a bit more than we were expecting. At the same time, we have completed the extension drilling at Cahill, and that's looking very good as well. I can't say anything about the numbers, but I've got the initial indications. We should have a resource on that. It should be a considerable amount of tons. And then just kind of to segue into the feasibility study, those tons will not make it into the feasibility study now. We need to do more work on that area to bring it up to an indicated level so we can put it in the reserve. So what we've done for the feasibility study is we have limited it to the Cahill resource and the B horizon, which underlies the original resource. The plan on that is to have that done towards the end of November. We'll see, might slip. If it slips into December, it might end up being in January because of Christmas time, but we're working very hard to try and get that out by the end of November. It was a conscious decision the team has taken. And just to segue a bit from that as well is that the extension, I'd like to put out an updated PEA, including the inferred from the extension, because we'd like to show a significant bump in like how much that affects NPV, which should be quite a lot. Maybe 50% or something like that up on NPV. Then we'll complete the feasibility so the market can see that we have a buildable capital, final capital cost, OPEX cost project. And then next year, we will update the entire feasibility. And the reason we do that is one of the questions I think you may be about to ask me is how's the drilling going at Otse? Well, the Otse drilling is like sort of underway at the moment. I don't have an awful lot to say about it yet because it's still relatively early days, but we're looking forward to getting results back on that and obviously updating the market. But that should yield significant tons, and we would expect that to be at a higher grade. So all of these events are very exciting going forwards. But as I've sort of laid out how that should happen, PEA, feasibility on Cahill and the B horizon, and then an update for Cahill extension next year and Otse next year as well.
Okay, yes, that brings us up to speed very nicely. So on the feasibility study then, where does this put you or Giyani on its development path? I mean, a feasibility study is a very important milestone. So where are you on your sort of journey of exploring in the project that you've got?
Well, look, that's a very good question because the journey has changed a little bit recently in that we've got much more tons than we were expecting. This project has got a lot bigger than we maybe hoped for at the start. We were cautious in our thoughts about how big the total resource could be at Cahill. And we've exceeded that well over, and we'll continue to add to that. So that changes the path the company goes down. Most likely the feasibility will need to be updated next year. The throughput at the moment has been fixed at 200,000 tons. It's definitely economically suboptimal. Our mine life will go out past 20 years. And if we increase the throughput to 400,000 tons, that would require us to. That's what requires the update feasibility, because you need new capital figures, et cetera. We don't want to delay this feasibility now into next year. We want to show our investors that as a serious company, we've got, that's it. Here's a feasibility. This is a buildable project with final capital, final metallurgical test work, and all that kind of stuff. Because that should change the risk perception on the project. The people look at it and go, "Wow, okay, there it is. They can really make this stuff." And this is a real plant that can really make the stuff. We can do expansion next year, but what that does for the date of going into production, I can't really say, because we don't know how big is yet. I've got an internal view on the extension. I know we have to do more drilling there. That'll make it bigger in all likelihood. And I don't have a view yet on outweigh, but I'm expecting that to be very positive. And, so little known to our investor base are other two deposits, Lobatse and a fourth one, which we have hardly spoken about, Ramotswa. In our exploration program this year, we've actually got boots on the ground properly in both those sites. That's more tons. We would be looking to make this significant. And the great thing about this is that the market, if we can maybe just turn to the market for a moment, us and the other, one or two leading developers or producers, we can't supply the full market. What's projected for 5, 10, 15 years from now. So that we have scope to increase our output without bumping up against the upper limit of what's expected to be needed to make these 30, 40, 50 million vehicles, to whatever they're going to make. And you can see that reflected in pricing at the moment. We keep track of the manganese sulfate price, obviously, on the Shanghai metal market, and it has not had a down tick in more than 12 months. Obviously, there was a rebound from the kind of pandemic stage when it sold off, during the dark days of the pandemic. But since the bottom, which is more than a year ago, it's been up, and up. And that's reflected in some of the other commodities, I would imagine, lithium and some of the other ones. It's the demand, industrial demand is really ramping up.
Okay. Well, good. It does certainly sound like you're building on the story and getting that information out to investors as soon as you can. And just talking on building the story, you of course announced as well that you're strengthening, or you have strengthened, the board and management team, and you've also appointed a VP. So again, this is building the company out, is it?
Yeah, very nicely, actually. So we've actually added 2 VPs. Well, one of them was really with us, but formally announced, and we've added a board director as well. So we added George Dunn as VP Business Development. He comes to us with very good credentials, long history, long background in the industry, kind of ideally suited for what we need him to do, which is both supply chain work, the project capital work, and also just general investor relations and public relations kind of work. And then we have also added Marion Thomas, VP ESG. She's been working with us for some time, but we've made her a full-time contractor now. And she's absolutely excellent. She's been very helpful in the feasibility study as well, and some of the stuff where it bears on the environment, like water, and like that. So. And then the final person we've added is Stephanie Hart, who has come to us to join the board. A great addition. The chair of the audit committee has a lot of company side experience, not so much on the board, but we were looking for somebody who was not a long time professional board member. We're looking for somebody who could come recently from the industry side. And then contribute significantly to the overall strengthening of the financial reporting standards that we have in the business.
Okay. And then between now then and the feasibility study before the end of the year, what else can investors watch out for?
We will have metallurgical test work final met test work that will come out. I think it's due in the beginning of October. We had some interim stuff. We decided we wait and wrap it all up in a couple of weeks' time, which is been progressing nicely. We should have the resource out on Cahill Extension. We should have initial drilling results from outweigh and demonstration plant. I didn't want to speak too much about demonstration plant at the moment. I need to get an update from my COO. But the demonstration plant, we should be executing the contract in the not too distant future to start building that.
Okay.
It's a little bit interlinked with the metallurgical test work.
Okay.
So yeah, that's quite a big one as well.
Okay, good. Well, thank you very much, Robin Birchall, the CEO of Giyani Metals, for joining me today and giving us all those updates. Yeah,
thanks, Mark. It's always a pleasure. And I think maybe a plug, I believe we're going to be doing a fireside chat with you and a couple of other companies.
Indeed, that is the plan, a fireside chat, indeed. So I look forward to that, and we'll make sure we let investors know when that is planned for and when it's scheduled and how they can view that. But yes, that is the plan, to get together a few of us and have a fireside discussion or chat, yeah.
Super, thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.